Context circumstances of the revelation of Surah 93, Al-Duha, and Surah 114, Al-Nas. Al-Duha, a 93. This is an early Makkan surah and was revealed after Surah 89, Al-Fajr, and 92, Al-Layl. Control of day and night is common to all the three surahs. Bukhari, Muslim and Tirmidhi reported on the authority of Hazrat Jundub that revelation of the Quran came to a halt during the early Makkan period, and this caused anxiety to the Prophet. A halt or break in revelation was a normal happening and is known as Fatra al-Wari. On 2 occasions, however, this halt was unusually longer. Once in the very early stage of prophethood, and this was the longest break. On another occasion, when the pagans asked the Prophet about the soul, Ruh, he promised them that he would reply the next day. However, he forgot to say, Insha Allah, if Allah wills, and the revelation ceased for some days. The pagans got a chance to taunt him by saying, Muhammad's, Pbuh, Lord has forsaken him, and he is displeased with him. According to a tradition of Imam Ahmed, Ummi Jamil, wife of Abu Lahab, went to the extent of saying, O Muhammad, I think that your devil has finally left you. The Prophet, in his human capacity, felt depressed, and since he was a man favorite to Allah, he received a reassurance and consolation by Allah. He was promised ultimate success in his mission. Allah also explained the wisdom of Fatra by contrasting the bright light, divine revelation, with the darkness and rest related to night, break in revelation. Thus, the break in revelation was something good for him, as continuous coming of revelation surely strained his nerves. This way, faith of the Prophet was strengthened. Al-Nas, 114. This surah is reported to have been revealed together with Surah Al-Falaq, 113. According to some commentators, this, like Surah 1, was revealed twice, first in Mecca and then in Medina. So, the circumstances of revelation of both the surahs were the same. Both the surahs are called Muawwadhatain, the 2 surahs teaching Muslims to seek Allah's refuge. According to the traditions reported by Hazrat Aisha in Musnad of Imam Ahmed and Sahih Bukhari, the Prophet fell ill as a result of the magic spell cast by a Jew named Labid bin Asam, of the tribe of Banu Zurayk. The Prophet began to forget some of the things and also developed some physical symptoms of the magic. Finally, he was divinely informed in a dream that the magic spell had been cast on his hair and a comb. They were placed in the dried bark of a date palm under a rock in the well of Darwan. The Prophet recovered them and untied the 11 knots by reciting 11 verses of the 2 surahs he had just received as the antidote to the magic. He remained ill for 6 months, and when he had recovered, Hazrat Aisha asked him, Will you not make this public? He replied, Allah has cured me and I hate to cause harm to anyone. This further proves his title of mercy for all. Surah 113 directs to seek Allah's protection against worldly calamities, jealousy, magic, whereas Surah 114 tells the way to seek divine refuge against the calamities of the hereafter, caused by Satan and his assistants who constantly try to misguide humans. This further proves his title of mercy for all. Surah 113 directs to seek Allah's protection against worldly calamities, jealousy, magic, whereas Surah 114 tells the way to seek divine refuge against the calamities of the hereafter, caused by Satan and his assistants who constantly try to misguide humans. According to Sahih Muslim, the Prophet had instructed Hazrat Uqba bin Tamir to recite the 2 surahs frequently. Recite these 2 surahs whenever you go to sleep and whenever you get up. Surahs 112 and 108. This surah was revealed during the early Makkan period of the prophetic mission of the Holy Prophet. Pre-Islamic Mecca was sunk in the worst forms of polytheism. Pagans used to worship idols and believed in Allah having daughters or assistants. Other non-Muslim communities, Jews and Christians, had corrupted the belief in Tawhid by associating sons with Allah. Amidst these circumstances, when Hazrat Muhammad began to preach absolute oneness of Allah, both in person and attributes, he was immediately opposed by all those who had been committing shirk, polytheism, one way or the other. They began to question the Prophet about the nature of one Allah. The Jews, too, often asked him similar questions. They wanted to compare the Quranic concept of Allah with that given in the Torah. They asked about Allah's gender, powers, and composition. According to Hakim, Tirmizi, and Imam Ahmed bin Hanbal, a tradition is quoted on the authority of Hazrat Ubay bin Ka'ab that the idolaters said to the Prophet, "O Muhammad, tell us about the lineage, ancestry of your Lord." The Prophet awaited the divine revelation, and finally, in an answer to such queries, Allah revealed this surah to the Holy Prophet so that he could purify, ikhlas, purity, the corrupted beliefs of pagans about Allah Almighty. The surah fully negates all perverted beliefs of pagans about Allah by declaring Allah's freedom from time and space. It fully defies all the crafted ideas about Allah's ancestors or children and tells humans that Allah's nature is too sublime and refined to be understood by humans. Surah 108, Al-Kawthar. It is also an early Makkan surah that was revealed in a special context. One aspect of persecutions against the Holy Prophet was to mock and ridicule him whenever his enemies got an opportunity. The Prophet, by the will of Allah, had lost his 2 infant sons from Hazrat Khadijah. His enemies, especially Abu Jahl and his confederates, began to mock him by saying that he would have no one to continue his progeny, that he had become an abtar, a man without progeny. According to a tradition reported by Muhammad bin Ali bin Hussein, it was an Arab custom to taunt and revile people who had lost their male issues theirs. So, the Quraysh exploited the death of the 2 sons of the Prophet and started ridiculing him. The Prophet was repeatedly targeted this way till the time he had received divine consolation through this surah. Abu Dawud, Muslim and Al-Nasai reported on the authority of Hazrat Anas, who said, "We were with the Messenger of Allah and he dozed off into a slumber. Then he lifted his head smiling. We said, 'O man, what has caused you to laugh?' He said, 'Laugh.' He said, 'Verily, a surah was just revealed to me.' Then he recited the whole surah 108. Allah's consolation is all summed up in the word Al-Kawthar, the abundance that ensured him continuity of his lineage by way of his spiritual progeny, the entire Muslim Ummah community, as well as by way of his descendants through Hazrat Ali and Hazrat Fatima. Along with this, Allah also promised destruction of his insulters. Both glad tidings soon proved true. The history and importance of the Quran.